Hi there. I've been working on a very fun project with Tal Kelly and Jenna Clark, my friends at Kids Listen. We've pulled together clips from a bunch of podcasts for kids to help you learn about emotions. The series is called Big Emotions, Kids Listen Mashups About Feelings. Here's a bonus episode for you of part 1 of 2 episodes on fear and bravery. I'll share part 2 later today. Look for Kids Listen on your favorite podcast app to find more Mashups episodes. The next episode of Kids Ask Dr. Friendtastic will come out on Saturday.
Hello and warm welcome. I'm Eric O'Keefe from the kids podcast What If World, and I'm so glad you're here. This is part 1 of Big Emotions, Kids Listen Mashups About Feelings. In this series, we'll be exploring those big feelings, because they can be powerful, and so can we. Emotions are useful. They are a source of information. They are our connection to the world. So let's get to know them better, invite them in, and create space to choose how we respond to them. We cannot control the wind, but we can adjust the sails. Today's journey is all about fear and bravery. Two powerful feelings that seem opposite, but are actually deeply connected. Because we had so many amazing thoughts on these feelings to share, we decided to split this adventure into 2 episodes. So, whether you're in the car or in the classroom, be sure to tune back in for the second installment. So what does fear and bravery mean to me? Well, when I was a kid, I took karate. Not to become the next Karate Kid, but because I had a bully. I practiced obsessively, imagining an epic showdown. But my teacher, Mr. McGlynn, saw right through me. He taught me something even more powerful than fighting: de-escalation. He showed me that sometimes the bravest thing to do is take a deep breath and slow down. Guess what? I never even had to face my bully. Facing my fear quietly helped me grow beyond it. Fear can actually be helpful, warning us of danger or helping us get ready for big moments. But sometimes that alarm goes off for no reason, holding us back instead. Bravery doesn't mean having no fear. It means feeling fear and still moving forward. Here's something cool. Facing fears makes them easier to handle, kind of like jumping into a cool pool. At first, the water feels freezing, but then you get used to it. The more you face it, the less scary it becomes. The water doesn't change, but how you experience it does. This collaboration brings together our community of creators, each offering their own unique perspective on emotions. Through a morsel from each show, we introduce you to a new creative style. We hope you discover your favorite podcast here. So for now, get comfy, settle in, and let's dive into these incredible stories about fear and bravery.
Emotions.
Our first Kids Listen show to explore fear and bravery is Smash Boom Best, a debate show from the makers of Brains On. In each episode, 2 cool things go head to head, and listeners decide which is best. Along the way, the debaters use facts and heaps of passion to teach you how to defend your own opinions. For this big emotions mashup, Smash Boom Best shared a clip that highlights the most thrilling and terrifying parts of Jack and the Beanstalk. You know the story. In this heartfelt moment, the narrator connects Jack's fear and bravery to his own experiences growing up. Let's listen.
If you tell it right, it's a straight-up thrill fest. Allow me. On Jack's third trip up the beanstalk, the giant is certain that he smells the boy somewhere. He starts searching all over the house. But he didn't think to look in the bathtub, so Jack is able to sneak away with the golden harp he'd taken.
Help! Help! He's stealing me!
Jack had no idea that this harp could talk. The giant comes charging out of the house after Jack, and Jack has to weave and dodge until he gets to the beanstalk. Then he starts climbing down, and at first, the giant is too scared to go after him because the beanstalk doesn't look sturdy. But then,
Help! Help, Master! Come get me!
the giant swings himself down onto the beanstalk, and it shakes so badly, Jack nearly falls off. And now the giant is coming after him, faster and faster, closer and closer, until... I'm not going to tell you anymore, but that's one heck of a cliffhanger. Or is it a stalk hanger? Aside from being a better story, Jack and the Beanstalk also has a better life lesson. Hang with me, because we're about to get personal. When I was in middle school, I was a fool. I was always goofing off in class, trying to impress the cool kids. It never worked. Often it ended with me in the principal's office. Once it ended up with the cool kids getting the whole class to point at me and chant,
Poser, poser, poser.
which was 90s slang that meant I was a follower, that I didn't know who I was. That moment sent me on a journey. I fell in with some real troublemakers, and I got in more trouble. And then I decided to have no friends at all, and so I was alone. Finally, in 9th grade, I met two guys who weren't cool and who weren't troublemakers. They were smart and nice, and we became friends. Jesse and Ryan are still two of my best friends to this day. Jesse and I even created the book series, The Unicorn Rescue Society, together. So you might think that fairy tales are supposed to have a moral, to teach you a lesson, like...
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Or...
Don't tell wolves where your grandma lives.
But moral lessons like that don't really help you through tough times. No one wants to be preached at. The best fairy tales, like Jack and the Beanstalk, aren't moral tales. They are tales that give you strength. Jack wasn't perfect. None of us are. He made terrible decisions, like I did. He traded his cow for beans, and he let his mother down, but that wasn't the end of his story. It was the beginning. It led to an incredible adventure, full of wonder and laughter and mortal terror. And he came out the other side braver and stronger and wiser. The best fairy tales, like Jack and the Beanstalk, give us faith that we can grow up to be better than we are, and that growing up is going to be one heck of an adventure.
That was beautiful. Have you ever stopped to think about what emotions a story makes you feel? Jack and the Beanstalk is full of fear and courage, but what about other stories you love? Next time a story moves you, pause for a moment. Close your eyes and notice how it makes you feel. Can you put those feelings into words? Just like Smash Boom Best teaches us to defend our opinions, we can also take time to understand our emotions and express them. Have you noticed how many words we use to describe different but related feelings? It's also interesting to notice that our feelings don't just flip on or off. They often come in different strengths or degrees. Fear is when something scary is happening right now, like when Jack faced the giant. If fear is really strong, we might feel terrified. Sometimes we're just nervous, a little uncomfortable because we don't know what to expect. Other times we feel anxious, which is a longer lasting kind of fear about something that might happen. When we're anxious, our brain often asks, what if something bad happens? Something in my what if world brain knows all too well. But just because we can imagine something doesn't mean it's likely or true. Next time your brain plays the what if game, flip the script. What if it doesn't? Or what if something good happens? And even if something tough does happen, remember, you won't go through it alone. You have people who care about you. And that makes all the difference. Up next, we have a heartfelt clip from Koala Moon, a podcast that helps families unwind with gentle, comforting bedtime stories. This episode, Isla and the Bravery Dragon, was inspired by a real listener who donated her own beloved Bravery Dragon, a soft, cuddly toy that gave courage to anyone who held it, helping them to overcome their fears. Settle in and listen to Koala Moon with Isla and the Bravery Dragon.
Miss Fudge allowed them all to practice their lines one more time before the other students would start filing into the hall for assembly. Everybody spoke their lines confidently and proudly, and Miss Fudge said she was pleased as punch that they all sounded so brilliant. But Isla noticed that there was one person in the class who wasn't speaking as loudly as normal. Ezzy, a boy that sat at her table in class, had spoken very quietly, so quietly that it was almost a whisper. Isla leaned forward on her bench and caught Ezzy's attention. "Are you all right, Ezzy?" Isla asked him gently. Ezzy looked at Isla with big, cheerless eyes. "Not really," he mumbled. "I'm feeling very nervous. I keep forgetting my words, and I'm worried I'll forget them in front of the whole school." Isla smiled encouragingly and replied, "You won't forget your lines, Ezzy. Just say them as confidently as you have in all our lessons. You've always got them right so far." Isla thought Ezzy could use a dose of confidence, like what Isla got from Bravo, her Bravery Dragon. She placed her hand on the beanie toy beneath her jumper and paused. Maybe Ezzy needed a Bravery Dragon more than she did today. Isla slipped the toy out from underneath her jumper and passed it to Ezzy. "Use my Bravery Dragon for the assembly," Isla suggested thoughtfully. "He's called Bravo, and I use him whenever I feel nervous or scared. All you have to do is hold him close when you feel worried. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine you are as brave as a dragon."
What a beautiful story and act of kindness. We've all felt fear like that before, and sometimes just hearing a few encouraging words from a friend can make all the difference. But being the one who offers support can feel just as rewarding. Isn't it amazing how emotions connect us? Our feelings don't just shape our own experiences, they help us understand and support the people around us too. A thought can spark a feeling, and a feeling can lead to a thought. They dance together, helping us understand who we are and what matters to us. When we pay attention, we can start to learn about ourselves, what makes us happy, what worries us, and what we care about most. By noticing how our thoughts can shape our feelings, we can grow, also becoming more understanding of other people's emotions. Next up, we have a clip from What's Poppin' Penny, a show about Penny, a little girl growing up in a warm, multi-generational home, along with her magical teddy bear, T.A., and her wise talking cat, Penelope. Have you ever felt scared and found comfort in talking to someone? I bet a name popped into your head just now. Consider letting them know, when you see them next, how much their understanding helps. In this clip, Penny confides in T.A. after watching a spooky movie that left her feeling anxious. Let's listen to What's Poppin' Penny and hear Penny's story of courage and comfort.
What's poppin', Penny?
TA, I didn't want to tell Deanne that her movie made me feel scared.
Why not, Penny girl?
Because I don't want her to think that I'm not fun. She said that I'm too sensitive.
Tell me, are you still feeling anxious?
Honestly, I can still feel the butterflies wiggling around in my tummy.
Let's see if we can get those butterflies out of your tummy, okay?
Okay.
First, look around the room and name 3 things you see. They can be anything, but try to concentrate on things that make you happy.
Okay. I see my dinosaur book on the table, Mommy's easel and paints by the window, and you, TA.
Good. Now name 3 sounds you hear.
I can hear the music coming from the courtyard down the block. The ceiling fan is humming, and Daddy's singing his silly song in the kitchen.
You're doing great. The last thing I want you to do is a silly wiggle dance. I'll do it with you. That's it, Penny girl. Wiggle your toes. Now wiggle your knees like a funky chicken. Keep going. Now shake your booty and shake your gut. Now shake your belly and shake your butt. That's it. Get down, Penny girl. Now finally throw your arms in the air and wave them like a teddy bear. Wiggle your fingers and clap your hands. That's it.
Woohoo!
Now slow it down. And stop. Now close your eyes and take 4 deep cleansing breaths through your nose and let it out through your mouth like you're blowing out birthday candles. Here we go. And breathe in and out. And in and out. And in and out. And in and out. How does your tummy feel now?
TA, the butterflies are all gone.
Big exhale. Those calming tricks from TA were pretty great. I might try them next time I get the butterflies, or feel a little scared. Penny showed us something really important. Talking to a trusted friend or adult about our feelings can make a big difference. What do you think? Have you ever felt better after sharing how you feel? Feelings are like smells. Some are sweet, others are stinky, but none of them are bad or wrong. They just are. They're all trying to tell us something. It's okay to feel however we feel. What matters most is how we choose to react. Fear and bravery are powerful emotions. We can feel them in ourselves, sense them in others, and even when we're not paying full attention, they have a way of making themselves known. Sometimes they can feel overwhelming. We've already heard how sharing emotions with someone can be a big help. Bringing someone in not just to support us, but to experience those feelings alongside us can turn a difficult moment into a special connection. Have you ever gone through something scary with a friend or family member? Facing a challenge together can create a bond that lasts. And it's not just humans who sense emotions. Have you ever shared a special connection with an animal? I know I have. Somehow animals always seem to find us when we need them most. We'll actually be exploring the idea of how our furry friends can help us in part 2. So stay tuned. Keep this idea of fear and bravery in your thoughts over the next few days. Maybe you'll notice a time when you get a little scared, and then you'll also discover your own strength to act anyway. Take a gentle breath right now and really notice how these feelings sit with you. We've explored a lot about fear and bravery in this first part. Remember, bravery isn't just about big, bold moments. It shows up in everyday choices, like speaking up, trying something new, or facing something that feels hard. We'll be right here, ready to continue exploring this with part 2 on Thursday. Before you go, stick around after the credits for a very special question. We hope it sparks a great conversation with someone you love. Thanks so much for listening and being part of this special Kids Listen mashup. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, big emotions aren't something to fear. They're something to feel. This episode has been a Kids Listen collaboration, created by Tal Kelly, Jenna Clark, and Dr. Eileen Kennedy Moore, hosted by me, Eric O'Keefe. This Big Emotions Kids Listen Mashups About Feelings is produced by Tal Kelly. Executive writer, Jenna Clark. Content director at Sleepiest and Koala Kids. In consultation with Eileen Kennedy Moore, PhD, an author and clinical psychologist, based in Princeton, New Jersey. Our intro music was created and generously provided by the wonderful Dan Sachs of Noodle Loaf. You can find full music credits in the show notes. A special thanks goes out to all of our contributors. We place links to our featured podcast in this episode's show notes. If you'd like to share your artwork, another powerful way to express emotions is through art. Email a photo to kidslistenmashups@gmail.com and we'll proudly share it on social media. Educators interested in applying this as an SEL resource in their classroom can find a PDF guide in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a nice review or share the show with someone you love. Thanks for tuning into your emotions as well as our mashup. Now for our question. Think back to a time when you had to do something new. Maybe the first time you rode a bike, jumped into the deep end, or spoke in front of a group. What helped you push through those first scary, I'm not sure what I'm doing moments? If this question got you thinking, let us know in the Spotify comments or in a review. We'd love to hear how it made you feel. And if you have your own thoughts or questions about this topic, our very own Dr. Friendtastic will be joining the conversation in the Spotify comments too. See you soon!